What's going on, everyone? This is End Time, and welcome back to Drama Free Gaming, DFG Podcast for short. I am your host, as always. I had Dark Dad with me here just a moment ago. He hopped off and might be jumping back in. I was hoping for today, to be honest, guys, to have my new internet connection switching and getting rid of Spectrum, which is only giving me 400, if that, up, and about 40 up and 400, sometimes a little bit more than 400 down, over to fiber optic. There's JJ. What's going on, man?
Yo, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool. No apologies, bro. I was just telling the people here, just as part of the intro, that I was hoping to have my fiber optics up, and nope, nope, no avail, man. Nope.
Wait. I thought AT&T was supposed to be sliding through.
Well, hey, it was supposed to happen this weekend. And get this, I've been waiting for them to bring fiber optics to my neighborhood like 2-3 years, bro. And once I set up the appointment, I was actually the first one in my neighborhood. And I'm so early on the scene that when they went to go connect it, they called me and said, "Hey, by the way, your connection doesn't even have a signal yet." So
Wow.
Yeah, man. I was just like chomping at the bit. So it's all good. So we're gonna have to still deal with, Spectrum, and hopefully nothing blows up on the stream. But brother, how you doing, man? Talk to me.
Well, life. You guys, everybody just wants you guys to know, I work 2 jobs, so sometimes it is very exhausting to work. My regular a second, take care of the kids and do this. And, if anybody out there misses me, I'm just letting you guys know I'm coming back. Life sucks, but, we deal with what we deal with. And as far as gaming is concerned, thank y'all for having me back. My ignorance was well missed, I'm sure.
Well, Jay, no one dismissed you, man. We know you have like 12 jobs, man. So
see, there we go.
You're making us making us look like slackers, but it is what it is, right? You got to do what you got to do. So
yes, sir.
Everybody just send some good vibes, prayers, whatever it is that you do, just make it positive and send it this way. Hey, want you guys to, if you're tuning in, even if it's after the fact, to leave in the comments anything and everything that you might want to talk about in these gaming days. I've put my ear to the ground once again, and I'm listening to a lot of interesting news. A lot of it is not so interesting, but every now and then there's some tidbits that pop up here and there. And before I move on, I just want to acknowledge that we have Sleek with us in the room. He's muted, so he might pop in here in a moment or not. If he wants to say something, he can definitely. But if not, he can just hang out with us and just be another part of the crew hanging out.
Another part of the crew.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to know, speaking on gaming news, when is gaming news really hasn't changed? It has been the same old crap over and over and over again.
Yeah, there's been some long, and I'm talking about long tail of news regarding Xbox and acquisition of Activision and Blizzard and all that. That's been going on forever, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's going to settle itself whenever it settles itself. We all know that Microsoft is going to acquire Activision, Blizzard, and that's not the only company, or the last company I should say, that they're going to pick up. So anybody who thinks that is going to cease once Microsoft picks up Activision Blizzard, no, it's only the beginning. it's only the beginning. And but we'll talk about that at another time because, I want to talk about something today, Jay. Let me ask before we jump into the topics here. What have you been playing? If you've been playing anything these days?
So I broke down and decided to jump into the game catalog. Resident Evil 4 Remake I just started it.
Okay, how is that, man? How's that been for you?
It is probably one of the best games I've played thus far this year.
Nice.
And I still got Dead Space Remake to check out. But Resident Evil 4 Remake, I know everybody and their mama has covered it, talked about it, played it, touched it, loved it, rubbed it. But at the end of the day, just from the everyday man, you ain't got time to, throw your life away in gaming guy.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 4 is definitely worth I want to play it. I want to put a little time into it. Mm-hmm. Life happens, but it's a game that wants to bring you back. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it's funny that you're saying Resident Evil 4. I'm going to confess something here on the stream, man, and I've been playing Resident Evil 2.
Yeah,
and jumped back into it, and actually you picked it up for me a while ago, and I was trying to stream it, and I'm a big scary cat, and I've said that before here on the stream, but let me tell you something, Jay. Resident Evil 2, I can't speak to any of the other ones because I've never touched any of the Resident Evils. This is actually the first time I've touched Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2, the remake, it's grown on me, bro. It is.
Yes, sir.
It is a really, really good game.
Yes.
I am having a blast with it, bro.
I told you, dude. I told you, man. Once a game like that grips you, you go, it's okay. And the next thing you know, I can make it to the next room. Oh God, I'm out of ammo. Oh,
that's exactly it. I think I fell into the realization playing Resident Evil, and that might be across the board for the entire series and maybe for the entire genre, but I'm never going to be at 100% health. It's like you're barely alive and you're just waiting for something to jump on your neck as soon as you round the next corner. And right now, if you're watching, guys, this is the gameplay for Resident Evil 2. This is fresh off the recording, okay? I was playing Resident Evil 2 about an hour ago before jumping on the stream. And I said, let me take this footage because this is actually better footage than the last one I showed. But this is a new area that I'm covering here. So the monsters or zombies or whatever it is, plant creatures and all that, they're very much still alive. So there's some action going on here, right? Not like the previous time that I showed that B-roll and it was boring. But
now you do know, and I'm gonna have to tell you this: you're gonna
don't
have to
spoil
play
anything.
the game. You have to play the game twice.
So you told me that before, and I was like, "Oh heck no, that's not happening." Nope. But
No.
But now, no. But let me say. But now, Jay,
okay.
I'm actually looking forward to getting through with Claire. Right, that's the character. That's the female character. I'm looking to get through with her in the story. And then go and do, like you said, go through the game with Leon, right? Leon is the other character. Yeah.
So the way it works is you're playing one person's side of the game. That's 50%. And you have to play with the other person's side of the game to get the true ending.
Wow. So let's talk about this, Jay. Since we're jumping into games, you've been playing Resident Evil 4. Like you said, a bunch of people covered it. I'm playing Resident Evil 2 for the first time. So imagine this. We are in 2023. You and I have done a bunch of gaming, right? And here we are playing two classic games. How crazy is that we've gone back into the vault And mind you, these games have been remade. This Resident Evil 2 is gorgeous. Like, I just love the way it looks, the ambiance. And I've seen gameplay on YouTube for Resident Evil 4. I've stayed away from most of it because I don't want to spoil it, because I actually want to go play it. So how crazy is that we're going back to these games? What is it about these games that bring us back?
In my humble opinion, because they're good and they're crowd favorites, and these games weren't made in years where games were dumbed down, microtransactionized. I know that's not a word, but I'm making it anyway.
He coined it right here, microtransactionized. Wow.
Yes, sir.
That's a good Scrabble word right there, man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, you're right. You're right, man. I think go ahead. Finish your thought, man. I'm curious here.
To try to make it parallel, I've been playing a lot of, anybody that knows me knows I play retro. And when you go back in time, once again, I've said it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. There's something when you take a retro game that was already good, and I'm not talking about adding a new coat of paint and a little touch here and a little, but you completely redo a good game and make it better, and
it's
then
crazy.
You do something to the experience that makes it even more memorable, and you want to play it. And that's just where I'm at.
Brother, let me tell you, I was hearing, and I wish I would have written down the name of the person who put the video out on YouTube. I don't know if they are a actual YouTuber or they just put the video out there, but they were talking about gaming, and they were talking about gaming when they were younger, and how when they were younger there were certain games they played and they got, a high and a rush off of these games. And then the older they got, they realized that they were still trying to chase or recreate that high, playing the games of today. And like you said, we talk about these games and we hold them in a high esteem because, well, in your case, you have the memory of playing the originals. I don't. I just played this for the first time, but I think you hit it on the head. We go back to the games that were enjoyable to us because we remember the joy, we remember the rush, the high, the grind when it didn't feel like a grind. And then we try to look for games today to kind of replicate that. And it's not that games are bad or games have gotten worse or microtransactionized, like you just said a moment ago. But I think that we'll never, because we're older, we'll never find a game. And if we do, it's probably going to be a remake like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4. Dude, I can't even imagine how the original Resident Evil 2 was. And I'm not even curious. I don't even want to go back and try it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you took Roblox and made it look better and gave it tank control, that's Resident Evil. You're right. That's
okay.
I mean, dude, if you went back and played, when you played it in the 90s, it was a different kind of fear because polygons were really coming in, and it was different kind of Resident Evil was kind of the first of its kind. There were horror games out there, but it wasn't Resident Evil. And Resident Evil took everything by storm, and that the horror genre was born. Silent Hill, which Silent Hill has a remake coming. Who would have
never
thought?
played it? Never played it, bro.
Well, Silent Hill was one of those ones that it ain't no Dead Space, but it's more of it's like that. I can give you a couple of recommendations, brother, that I know you would be like, I don't know why this dude got me hooked.
Well, let me slow the roll. Let me slow the roll because I told you before, I don't think I'll ever be. Let me not say that either, because I have I have actually fallen in love with Resident Evil 2. And I thought I would never say that, but playing this game, and you know what did it for me? I'm gonna say this, and I didn't purpose to talk about Resident Evil today, but it just, we're on this roll. Experiencing this game and being trapped inside that police station, and then it getting all weird, you going into the sewers and then the swamp monster thing under there, and I mean, I've jumped, I've screamed, I've turned on all my lights. I make sure that I play it with the audio not on my headphones because I'm too scared for that. And if you're looking at the video right now, you can tell that I can't even aim the gun to get headshots. It's just I get unnerved. But what I was saying, brother, was that when I got out of the police station, the game opened up. Like I thought because I've never spoiled it for myself. I thought, okay, once I finish this police station puzzle and the sewers and everything, game over. Like I'm done. I'm finished. I can breathe. I can put the controller down. No, it just opened up.
Nope.
It opened up, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this game is dope." it just continued. I was pleasantly surprised, man.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, brother, I hope that you continue with it because there's a lot of Resident Evil games you should go back and experience. Because if you ever want to take that walk, and they're co-op Resident Evil games. There are.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk more about Resident Evil. I mean, and for you guys who haven't checked it out, if you are like me, that the horror genre is just not your thing, I can at least tell you Resident Evil 2 is good to go. I'm curious now if Capcom is going to do, if they haven't done it already, because I don't know, a remake of Resident Evil 1.
Yes.
I mean, is it so no tank controls? Like it's legit?
It's called Resident Evil HD Remastered.
Okay.
So it's literally Resident Evil 1, like tank controls, like you can go back and experience the 90s with redone Resident Evil classic in just a new age form, and I recommend you do that.
Okay. With the controls, are they tank controls?
Yeah, I mean,
it's the only reason why I never played Resident Evil 1, because I touched it for like a minute, and I was like, nope, these controllers suck, and I dropped it, and I literally didn't play. I played Tomb Raider, but I never played Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is more about the story and the ambiance, even though the gameplay does take into effect. But I definitely recommend the experience. Like, you don't have to. Okay. It's literally like, you get frustrated, like, I got to do this. Yeah. But then it's also like, but wait, though, I'm stuck in this mansion. But what I want you to play, man, I want you to get into Dead Space.
You know what? Let me make another confession. I said to myself, as soon as I'm done with this game, Resident Evil 2, I think I'm going to have to go pick up Dead Space.
Now, play the original first.
Really? Yeah, I don't want to play the original. Now that I know that there's an actual like remake and it's legit, why would I want to go back and play the original?
Because the experience is going to be phenomenal. Now, I've beaten recently here this year Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, and Dead Space 3 is co-op.
Okay.
So, brother, I recommend you take this journey. You gonna almost kick yourself for not doing it because I felt the same way you did, man. I don't want to deal with it. But then it's the experience alone. Okay. That makes you. Well, it's like I'm gonna say it right here, right now. It's like crack, man. You take that first big hit. You're like, yeah. Wait a minute. I don't know what I'm
We
getting into.
we are
Next
not
thing you know,
endorsing drug use, no, of any sort of kind of any, even
no,
prescribed. Take your medications
no,
as prescribed, people.
that was, please don't take me. Please don't take that comment out of context. I did not mean it like that. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me move on, man, because again, there's a lot that I want to talk about, and I want to respect
Yeah.
the time. We old and we got to get Jay to bed here in about 40 minutes. We're about 20 minutes in. People, thank you for tuning in. If you do me a favor, come over to YouTube if you're not already here. Hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. We're not asking you for any money yet. But hit that subscribe button as well. Turn on the notifications. This is something that I want to keep on the steady moving forward. DFG Podcast has been around for quite some time, but we've been hit and miss, and there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on, life and whatnot. But I think I'm in a space and in a time right now where not just DFG Podcast, but we're going to be building a bunch of other podcasts, not necessarily game related, but we'll talk about that more in the future here. Come over also to Discord and join us on Drama Free Gaming. We have a small community there. It's mostly guys, doing the dad thing. And we hang out, we chill, we talk, we keep each other sane. Ain't that right, Jay? We try.
I don't know. I don't know about the sane part, because I'm gonna tell you, y'all will see me get land blasted for saying something stupid. And it's to be expected, because I always say something stupid.
Nah, man, you're a very, very intelligent person, man. We just like to bust your chops. That's what it is, man. So.
Oh no, I know. I just like having fun with. Trust me, guys. They'll get into this big egg-headed conversation about computers, right? And I know we're going off topic. Give me a second. They'll say something about, hey, this graphics card, blah blah blah. Somebody will come in. Oh, by the way, do you check this out? Somebody, and then it'll be this entire thread with my head hurting, going, what? Huh? And then I'll throw up a GIF with me holding my head, going, I have no idea what is going on.
Yeah, you just, but at least you stick around to see if something sticks, right?
So I got to, man.
Yeah, man. That's what I did in order to build my first PC and figure out where to go and how to make sure that components were compatible with one another. And I'm here, man, excited. Towards the end of the month, I should have everything. I actually have everything I need. Tomorrow I'll be picking up my case, the tower, for my second build, and it's gonna be sweet, man. But I'm not gonna build until probably the end of the month. Once I get my fiber in here, then we're gonna build. So let's keep our fingers crossed in anticipation of that. I'll give you guys an update when that happens. What were you gonna say, Jay? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to add on, ladies and gentlemen, that we've made a lot of promises that things would change and life would kick us in the throat, but this brother's actually in time is putting in some work to actually make a change.
We trying, brother. We trying.
He's putting in some work, guys. So I'm gonna ask again. Yeah, bear with us. We are on and off, but we are definitely trying to get back to where we used to be. And trust me, our old stuff is pretty rough. But some people are stuck with us. So some people are stuck with us. So thank you.
Yeah. Some people are gonna realize as you go on, guys. My hope is to there's a lot of channels out here on YouTube, and I'm not in competition, nor am I going to compare myself with anyone, nor am I going to criticize anyone out here. I think there's plenty of ears out here that just want to hear about their favorite hobby, and that comes in all different shapes and sizes, man. We can talk about our favorite hobby, gaming, and talk about life, talk about fatherhood, talk about work, talk about whatever. And I think that's what gives us kind of a unique place in the YouTube universe, right? That we come on here, it's a labor of love. I'm trying to just put it together to make it visually appealing and keep our banter interesting. And what's more interesting than real life, right? Real talk. There's going to be times that we're going to be laughing, we're going to be yucking it up. There's going to be times, man, that we're going to be just sulking in it. But maybe you're the type of person that needs people like us to relate to. I know that I need people like myself to relate to, real people who are not just, faking the funk, right? And every day is a good day. No, every day is not a good day. There's trials, there's tribulations, but the man upstairs, the one I serve, he gets us through. Anyways, that's another podcast for another day.
This brother about to get into it, man. Go ahead.
I'm feeling good, brother. I'm feeling good, but I want to respect your time. I want to respect your time, brother. I know. I'm trying to bring the energy, brother. We're trying to bring the energy. This is where I wish that Henyo was here. I'm going to leave this topic for a little bit later. We are going to talk about it tonight, and that is regarding DMR, or actually DRM. Okay? And I'll tell you what that means a little bit later if you haven't heard about it. I've heard about it. I looked into it a little bit more. And that's actually the title of the podcast tonight. DRM. Should you care? And we'll talk about it because it is video game related. But did you hear? Well, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, jump into it.
Well,
you're gonna say something.
Well, as the resident knucklehead here at DFG Gaming, or I forgot. Anyway, as the resident knucklehead,
you said it right. DFG Podcast.
Yeah, there
free gaming. There you go.
Please give me.
There is an audio version of this. That's why it is called a podcast. Even though we're on YouTube and it is video, you can definitely catch us again. Drama Free Gaming on YouTube, and you will be able to hear us on Pocket Cast and Spotify and other podcasting platforms. But go ahead, Jay. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. So please go break down what the 3-letter word actually means first and foremost for me.
So I'm not going to get into it right now. I'll just tell you what they mean.
Yeah,
DRM stands for Digital Rights Management. And that's where I'm going to leave it right now, okay? We'll talk about it here towards the middle end of the podcast. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Hopefully this podcast in your ears is just putting a smile on your face. We had Sleeky Boy with us, but he jumped out. Maybe he'll jump in a little bit later. Let me talk about the latest rumor, and people are talking about it like it's a confirmed thing. Now, it might be, and I might be completely ignorant, but have you heard of the new anticipated, and the code name for it is Q-Lite? Q as in the letter Q, light, I believe, as spelled Lite. Not that matters, but it is the new PlayStation Portable. Have you heard anything about that, Jay?
The Vita 2?
Now, I knew you was going to say that. No, actually, it's not the Vita 2, but this caught my attention because from what I'm hearing, on YouTube and where I got my ear placed, is PlayStation is putting out a portable device, a handheld device that is going to be used to sync up to your PlayStation 5 console. So you have to have a PlayStation 5, and you'll be able to remote play off of this device. So
you
go ahead.
can do that, but you can do that already. So how is that even remotely like this big crowd cheering thing when that's being done already?
Okay, well talk to me about it. You're not excited for it, you're not curious about it. I mean, what's your take?
It's already been done. Like the Vita, you could have done that with your PlayStation 4. To me, that's old technology. You can get a PlayStation 4 and have a PlayStation 5 and do the exact same thing and not even be at home. I can come to your place and remote play my PlayStation 5. So it's not like, woo, it's not exciting. It's like, okay, y'all rehashing the same old crap you've done.
So you wouldn't like a dedicated device that you connect to your PlayStation 5 and you can play in handheld mode, those bangers that PlayStation puts out.
No, if I think I would do what you would do if I'm going to spend any kind of money like that, I'd just get a Steam Deck. I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
It is far more, I would say, bang for the buck to even not even worry about. I mean, this is my humble opinion. Don't even worry about the Sony handheld. Every Sony handheld, without fail, has failed. The PS1 Gen 1, when it came out, it was the most glorious, beautiful thing ever. And then, you got the PSP, then the Vita, then the PSP Mini,
Right.
and then they had then you had Vita, and they all failed because Sony did nothing with it.
How did you feel about the PSP or the PS Vita? I had a Vita. I loved the Vita.
I had a PSP, and when I
So
first
did
got
I.
it, it was When I first got it, I was like, "Yo, this system is awesome." And then when what happens when the brainiacs get a hold of it, they started emulating things on the PlayStation Vita. Everybody loved it, and everybody's been doing it ever since. Ever since
Right.
it's you don't worry about emulation. You don't worry about it. The only thing you can do now is, well, we can offer you remote play. Like, really? If I'm gonna buy a handheld, I might as well just wait for Nintendo.
What do you think is their motivation for putting out? I'm gonna call it a peripheral because that's what it is. It's not the way that is being explained or described. It's not a system per se. It has to be coupled with the PlayStation 5. What do you think? What do you think is their motivation? What are they thinking about right now? They just released a PlayStation VR 2 headset. That bad boy is the price of an actual PlayStation 5, and it's not selling well, not in this economy. So what do you think? What do you think is the motivation, the idea, the plan, the purpose, if any?
A waste of money.
A waste of
I
money.
mean, I mean, you think about it. Yes, I mean, people like VR. VR's not even in full go yet. We've been messing with VR technology for how many years now?
I mean, over a decade, I think, at this point.
Longer.
If I had to take
Longer
a
than
guess,
that.
I don't have an exact number or anything, but
Longer than that. Do you remember a system back in the day called the Virtual Boy?
oh yeah. I mean, I thought you was talking about the tech that we have now, like the headsets and stuff that we've been
I mean,
messing around with, for
yeah.
I would say about a decade.
So, I mean, this ain't Sony's first rodeo. Sony's major problem in all this whole thing, and I'm going to go ahead and just say it, they develop stuff and do nothing with it. The headsets. You had a PlayStation headset.
Yeah,
You
I
had the
did.
Rocky,
I
and
did. Creed.
how much did you play it?
What was a challenge? And I've heard other people say this. First and foremost, I thought it was dope. I had a great time with my PSVR. Like Jay just said, I had Creed. I had a couple of games. I had what's that game with the mouse and whatever. Anyways, I had several games and I really jumped into it, invested money into games and whatnot. It didn't blow me away graphically, but I understood that graphically it wasn't there, but the technology was fun. And I enjoyed my time with it. My challenge was putting that headset on and those cables attached to it and setting it up, and it wasn't accessible where I can just slap it on my head, hit a button, and it's a go. Like, I have a Quest right now, or Oculus, right? And it's wireless. And so I put that bad boy on my head, turn it on, grab the controllers, and I'm playing. And it wasn't like that with the PlayStation. Like, it had to be tethered. the PSVR, and so does the PSVR 2, if I'm not mistaken. It has to be tethered to the machine. So you have a $500 machine plus a $500 headset. Mind you, I'm not knocking the headset nor the machine. The headset is said to be one of the best, if not the best headset as far as resolution, tech, etc., etc., etc. But I can't see myself jumping into it because of the experience I had with the PSVR 1, and the VR 2 is just not, for me, it's not that much more different. It's still tethered. It still needs a PlayStation 5, and I can't use that headset for PC game playing. If I could use the headset for PC game playing, that might make me change my mind, and I might pick one up and say, okay, now I can play it and play games off my PC. Yeah, okay, that would make it an investment for me. But at this point, nah, I can't do it. I won't. I wouldn't recommend to do it unless, again, you have money like that to splurge.
Yeah, and that gets to the overall problem with is Sony makes things, does nothing with it except for the systems, and then that's it. That's why all their accessories die.
Yeah, I was saddened by, and I know a lot of people were saddened by the PS Vita's demise. I think it was a great device, but it went the way of the dodo. So, well, enough about the PlayStation Portable Q-Lite. We'll see, and we'll hear more news, and I guess we'll talk about it a little bit more. I'm gonna keep my eye on it. I'm curious to see why PlayStation is bringing out another device, especially in this climate, this economic climate. How much is this thing going to cost? What is it going to do? Is it necessary? All of those questions to be answered later on. Jay, are you even remotely, switching gears now, are you even remotely curious in going to see the Mario movie?
Yes, I am taking the kids when I get a chance. I'm not going first week because the movie's banging right now.
Yeah, man.
I don't like people no way like that. So,
Okay.
I want to go. I want to go when it's slowing down and you can actually sit down and enjoy a movie. But yeah, I'm interested.
Okay.
I'm very interested to see what they did with this. I've seen all the Sonic movies. They were fun. So I'm hoping that this movie. I'm not expecting some colossal, great storytelling. I'm expecting a fun Mario movie. That's all I'm coming in for.
Okay. So you're going in with low expectations.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go in.
Okay. So I haven't seen it yet, and I'm like you. I'm not going to rush out and see it now when everybody and their mom's mom and all their grandkids and great-grandkids are out there and watching it. But from what I've heard, in the first weekend or the first couple of days, it has made more money than the last 3 Disney movies that have come out combined.
Yes. It is looking to step on the throat of Frozen 2 in box office sales worldwide.
Wow. Ain't that great? Nintendo is making that cash.
Yeah, I mean, they I don't know what to say about Disney. We can save that conversation for another day. I'm just saying. Illumination said, "Hey, we're going to take a video game movie and we're going to make some money off of it."
Right.
And they making money. That's entertainment's about making money, ladies.
Nintendo is Nintendo reminds me of, and we've had conversations here about this love-hate relationship for Nintendo. Who's that character? Is it Groot? He's with the Minions. Groot, right? That's his name.
The tree dude, yeah.
No, not Groot, not I am Groot. Gru in the Minions. You know what the Minions are? I forget what the name of the movie is, man. It's a little Minions and
that's I know who the Minions are.
yeah. So their boss, his name is Gru, I think, GRU or something to that effect. Anyways, but Despicable Me. Thank you, Sleek. Sleek texting it in the corner here. Thank you, Sleek. Despicable Me. So that's Nintendo in my eyes. You know, they're like the bad guy whom you can't help but cheer for and love. Because here they go and make a movie which smashed in the first 3-4 days that it was released. It smashed the last 3 Disney movies that have come out. Okay? And I heard, and this is I don't know if it's been validified, but I've heard with my ear to the ground that Nintendo got big plans for their properties and making more movies. And they're calling it, brother, and they're calling it the NCU, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe.
I'm gonna be 100% honest, and I'm gonna tell you where all their money comes in if they do it right. If they do a Legend of Zelda trilogy, kind of like Lord of the Rings, but very good, they will clean up everything.
Brother, they got not only plans, I'm sure, for Zelda, but they got plans for Metroid. They got plans for Star Fox. They got plans, from what I've heard, they got plans pushing like 10 years out to eventually make a Smash Brothers movie. What do you think about that?
That's going to be interesting to even remotely see how that's going to be done. So I'm quite interested in that.
Are you saying to yourself, like deep inside you right now, Nintendo, take my money, just take it?
No, I'm not saying take my money. I'm going to say, Nintendo, make a fun, entertaining movie that makes me want to spend my money. If that makes sense. Well, brother,
if I think you're going, I think like you and I, right? And yeah. I agree with you. I'm going to see this Mario movie, even though I've heard the hype, okay? But I haven't seen any. I stopped watching previews and trailers and all that stuff. Like, I completely avoid it, so I wouldn't spoil anything for myself when I eventually see this movie. But I'm going in with low expectations, even though I've heard the hype, even though I know this news that I just shared with you all. And I want to have that stupid smile on my face, you know, just that grin that doesn't come out, just because Nintendo, it has put a product together with characters that we know growing up, and they didn't get wrapped up in a bunch of malarkey, but they just kept it true to the game. You know what I'm saying? We've seen terrible iterations of characters in games being made into movie renditions. Terrible. I'm not even going to name them, but Nintendo seems to have done well. I really don't matter. I don't really care, to be honest. And to be honest, man, you know, ain't nobody got time for that. But yeah, kudos to Nintendo, guys. If you haven't heard it, it didn't originate with me. I heard it from someone who heard it from someone who heard it from someone. The Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Watch out, Marvel. Marvel has the MCU. Watch out. Here comes the NCU. And they're ready to take over, brother. So
well, it's
gonna be fun.
They better do it right.
Hey,
You
if
know,
it's anything like Mario and Illumination Studios continues to put out those bangers like that, hey, as long as they don't get caught up, let's just be honest. I'm going to say it and I'm going to move on. As long as they don't get caught up, and Nintendo won't, because Nintendo had their hands, legs, everything involved in this game. These are their properties, okay? They're not going to get involved in the politics. They're not here to send covert messages about certain political stances and thoughts, and they're not about that. They're like, make the movie. This is what it's going to be. It's for kids. It's a character. Let's do this. And they made buku money.
I think the one thing I can say about Nintendo since 1985, and I can actually say that because I was alive when Nintendo was storming the scene. Nintendo knows how to make money.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Like, if Nintendo didn't know how to make money, they wouldn't be here. They would be out of business. But Nintendo is one of the strongest gaming companies out here. Don't let the brand fool you.
No, man. If you've been alive any amount of time as like we have been, Nintendo is here and they're here to stay. And they're making moves. They've been making moves. They will continue to make moves to thrive and be in your wallet. So, guys, if you are enjoying the podcast, if you're listening to us on audio, you know what to do. Subscribe, share this with someone, share this with a brother, a mother, a sister, a loved one, your dog. Okay, just subscribe, tune in, check us out, and also on YouTube at Drama Free Gaming. What were you gonna say, Jay? Go ahead.
Wait a minute. We gotta let Lassie sit down and listen to us.
Hey, whoever is interested. I'm going to, if you're watching the ticker right now on the screen, on the video on YouTube, I'm going to hit the ticker, and this is what really I wanted to address here before we leave. We started off at the top of the podcast talking about DRM, and I wrote on the screen DMR. So forgive that error, but it should say DRM in games. Should we care? And if you didn't catch it earlier in the podcast, DRM stands for Digital Rights Management. Jay, if you had to take a guess at what that means, what would you say?
I would say that if you're going to probably buy something digitally, you're going to probably have to buy the rights for the game as well. That would be my best logical guess.
Okay. Now, mind you, for people who don't know, when we purchase our games digital right now, even when you do it with a disc copy, you are basically purchasing the rights to access that game, whether it is with a disc, a physical copy, or a digital download, right? Now, mind you, back in the days of the dinosaurs, when you had a physical cartridge and a system that did not connect to the internet, then you actually had that game in your possession, and you can play it for as long as you own that game and that machine was functioning. If the machine died or your game went kaplooey, that was it, right? So
yeah, that's for the most part.
Right. So games for quite some time have moved on from needing an actual system and hardware, and even with the hardware that we got, when we get that disc, all we're doing is popping it in our system so that the game could be accessible. It's a key. Let's think of it that way. It's a key to unlock the game or unlock the door to play the game. So digital rights management, in a nutshell, is is something that publishers, game companies, we were talking about Nintendo here a moment ago, but it's not just Nintendo. They actually hire on a company or companies to do something where they encode the game that you and I are playing to protect that game, and I'm using air quotes, protect the game from being what is the word? Stolen? From being copied? From being pirated? That's the word I was looking for. And,
So
how do you feel about that?
they can't stop anything like that. I would have think that how many rules that they get. You know, people can come in if they're gonna take your game, they're gonna take your game. You can now. I have been seeing on that note news in the on the front. If you guys ever go around and look at your Walmarts, your Best Buys, you are starting to see physical copies of games being fizzled out. So what I will tell you from experience in watching many systems die out and their games slowly get taken off the shelves and die out. If you want to get physical copies for your systems, now's the time. Don't wait. Don't go, I'll think about it. Because if you don't get your physical copy now, in a couple of years, they probably will not be doing physical games again. So, as a warning, you heard it here first. If you're gonna get it physically, get it now.
So you think, Jay, that physical media, physical games are going to go the way of the dodo, the extinct? Like eventually everything is going to be digital, cloud based. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable for that to happen. I think they're setting it up for it to happen that way.
So I bring up the DRM, right? This digital rights management, and I always try to like look at both coins, both sides of the coin. Excuse me, I'm here trying to speak correctly. If I'm a game producer and and I put out a game, I would want to protect that game from being pirated because I've put money into that game, time into that game. I want to get paid for the game that I put blood, sweat, and tears into. So I can see why that's a thing. And the flip side is, as Sleek said, there was a rumor, right? No more Xbox consoles, just Game Pass. And I can see that. Xbox, Microsoft has already, and they said it years ago, that their goal was for you to be able to access your games, meaning the games that they offer, on any and every device that would support Game Pass. And I think just this year, Samsung partnered with Microsoft, and there's a native app on their brand new 2023 TVs where all you need is a controller and a subscription to Game Pass, and you can play your games, and you don't have to have an Xbox. You're playing them straight from the cloud.
Sadly enough, and you guys heard this, you can look this up, Sony televisions offer the same thing.
Yeah.
Not only can you get a Sony television, run Game Pass, but it's also going to natively connect to your PlayStation 5.
Right.
And go, oh, you can do this with this too. So everything is heading to the digital world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody needs to be aware of that. So, we're already picky on our games. And a lot of us, most people aren't buying physical copies of games anymore. I mean, it's too available to go buy digital. So why wouldn't you just go, well, we're going digital anyway. Let's slowly etch out hard and just all go digital.
Right, right. And I just took a moment, guys. Don't get confused. I changed the gameplay from Resident Evil 2 over to Monster Hunter Rise, just because I ran out of B-roll on Resident Evil 2, and I just didn't want it to replay. But just for the next couple of minutes here, while we get ready to wrap up with this topic, let me just say this. This is my 2 cents. I don't ever want anything that's going to bar me from getting to my games, and DRM seems to be one of those things that, again, from what I've heard, when it's implemented in a game, and in the age of everything, every game always having to be connected online, once a server is shut down, or once a publisher or the people who make the game decide that they don't want you to have access to that game no more, they can shut it down on their end, and there's nothing that you and I can do about it. It is what it is. The flip side of that is, I've never purchased a game in my entire gaming life where I've gone and looked up, and I know you can do it now. You can do it on Steam with PC games. I'm sure you can do it for all games now. But I've never looked up a game and said, let me see if it has DRM or anything remotely the same as DRM included in this game, to see if then that'll persuade me to either buy another game or I'll just pick it up anyways. Have you ever looked for that? I mean, is that something you think you're going to ever do? Like, look and see if a game has DRM in it, and is that going to change your purchasing habits moving forward, especially in the age of digital media?
I would say that most of the general mass audience of games probably won't think about that until it's too late.
The average guys, right? Like us.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider yourself average because you took the time to actually go research the information, and average people
Well,
don't.
I mean, I heard it, but as average guys, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm a noob techie. I'll consider myself a noob techie, as compared to like Sleek, who hasn't said a word, but he's been hanging with us. Appreciate you, Sleek. We love you. And Henyo, who's not with us this evening. Those two guys, they work in the field. Those two guys are techs, bona fide. Me, on the other hand, dude, I'm not going to care if a game has DRM, if I can't, emulate it because I can't pirate it or whatever the case may be. For the average person, I think that it's just an out of sight, out of mind, and it is the small minority, which I'm not speaking in any way, shape, or form ill of, but it's always a small minority that brings this to our attention. But I think the average consumer, like you and I, it's really neither here nor there.
Well,
That's how I just feel about it, Jay. I mean, I don't know. Do you agree with me, or?
Yes and no. I'm just gonna say this, and I may be speaking for myself on this. I wouldn't call you or myself the average gamers on any kind of level whatsoever.
Okay.
And the reason I can say that, when I have a better part, just like yourself, Sleek, Henyo. Most of us have a better part of over at least 1,000 games in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Right. Or at least been exposed to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, been exposed to a lot of gaming, a lot of games.
And I'm going to say, honestly, this whole DRM thing is going to be not only one of the biggest, it's probably going to be one of the biggest drawbacks in gaming history because the way gaming is going right now. But also, it could be a big thing because the lemmings of today's gaming world, You throw a carrot out there and people jump on it like, oh my God, this is the best thing known to man. But they've been serving you guys this crap for years and you're still eating it. Stop. Wake up. If you want to keep eating the same crap, then go keep looking at the same crap. But if you don't want to deal with the DRM and all that, get your gaming stuff now so that you can be the one that controls what you buy, what you don't, what you want, what you don't want. Because it's up to companies to make you spend the money,
I hear you. I agree with you. I mean, it is good to be informed, educated, at least to a certain degree. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, I'm talking for myself. As a hobbyist, playing games, looking forward to building my second PC. For me, it's fun to know about these things. Now, I take kind of the approach of, can we do anything about it? I mean, are we going to boycott a certain, like we were talking about Resident Evil, right? And the games that Capcom has been able to remaster and put back out, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, this game that's on the screen right now, Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise has DRM, okay? So it's in there. It's a layer of protection that Capcom has opted to put in their game. Now, I believe a game like, which one was it that I heard? It was one of the Resident Evils. I think it was Resident Evil, was it Village?
No, I got the Village.
I think Capcom went in and they removed it, like after 2 years of it having DRM. So, I mean, I don't know. Is it one of those things that companies are going to do for a period of time and then they'll go back and remove it? And not even announce it. It's just one of those things that they do behind the scenes. And again, the average consumer, you and I, we wouldn't know any different because we're enjoying our game and we're playing our game. And that's where it begins and ends with us.
Well, I want to ask this question. Number one question for me, if they're going to do this whole digital rights thing, are we actually truly going to own the game when we buy it?
Dude, we don't own anything now.
Touche on that one. Touche.
We don't own. We've had the conversation, right? And I personally don't fool myself in thinking when I open up my Xbox catalog or my PlayStation games, I have a few that I told myself, this is the funny thing. I told myself when I eventually would get a PlayStation 5, which my wife tracked down for me for Christmas, this last Christmas. I love her so much. When I told her to get me the console that, not the digital one, but the one with the disc drive, that's the one that I have. And I told myself that I was going to get the PlayStation like that with the drive because I wanted to be able to purchase games, play them, trade them in at GameStop because I really wasn't looking to collect any games for the PlayStation platform. It should be no surprise, I've said it here before, I'm an Xbox person. So the games that I was going to be playing on PlayStation were going to be games that I was going to play and trade in and move on to the next one. Have I bought any physical games for my PlayStation 5? Nope. I haven't. None. All my games on the PlayStation 5 that I currently have are digital, just like my Xbox games. They're all digital. So when I open up my library and Game Pass tells me I have over 300 games that I quote unquote own, I don't own them games. The moment I stop paying for Game Pass, I have no access to my games.
About the moment the moment you don't have internet, a lot of your games won't even activate.
Can't anyway. Exactly, because they need an internet connection, right? So that's another thing there. I mean, I understand where people are coming from, but that's our reality, and moving forward it's going to continue to be our reality. Now mind you, we haven't even talked about, and I won't get into it in this podcast, in this episode, but emulation. I have an arcade machine. I have two of them. You have an arcade machine. You have multiple of them. But you have one right now that emulates all the systems out there. And then some.
I do.
And it's like, but let's be real, Jay. Will we ever play all of those games, or are we gonna go back to the ones that are near and dear to us?
I'm going to honestly say, speaking from my humble opinion, I'm going back to what's near and dear to me.
Exactly.
When you brought up the machine, I went back. Quick story. I went back and I played a game on Sega Saturn called Shining the Holy Ark.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never been so excited, so thrilled, so happy, so into a game when I played that. And that let me know, and it solidified in my heart, at the end of the day, as an old head gamer, it's going to take amazing games and a lot of amazing remakes for me to want to look at the new systems. Like, you got to shock me.
Right.
And oh, by the way, news on the new front, and I know, guess what? And I know Sleek's probably going to have some information on this. They done another remake is in the pipeline, and it got my eyes wide open, and Atlas gonna get my money if it's true.
And that game is
Persona 3 remake.
Oh, well, there you go. You see, it just proves my point. And maybe, hey guys, maybe you're listening to this. Leave some comments below. If you're checking out this video, leave the comments. We want to know. Are you in a place in your life in gaming where it's not the new shiny thing because everything just looks the same, but it's these remakes that are coming out of games that you've played before, that you're familiar with, or you heard of? Maybe you didn't play it like me, and now you're visiting them and you're finding this rekindled joy because the game is might be the way you remember it. It's not really the way that you remember it. It's been improved in most cases, but we go back full circle. And I'm going to end with this, Jay. I think that's why when we do find a game that sparks our interest and holds us, and we play that game over and over and over again, it's a special thing because it's doing something that is striking a new nerve. It's creating a new experience. And I'm talking about us who have been exposed to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games in all different types of genres. And you've said it. I agree with you. We've seen it. We've been there. We've seen it. There's nothing new under the sun. One of those games, and I have to say it before we end, one of those games that did that for me is a game that's on the screen right now, Monster Hunter. When I played Monster Hunter, I had never played anything like it ever in my life. And I fell in love. And Monster Hunter became my favorite series and my favorite genre. Hands down. Resident Evil 2 is another, I'm going to say it here, is a game that I'm adding to that library of loved games, that it did something to me that I had never experienced. And so I'm looking for that right now because my time is precious, man. And your time is precious as well, Jay. I've kept you here past an hour, man. Anything you want to say before we shut it down?
I definitely want to tell you, since you have begun this journey with Resident Evil, I'm going to be with you. And my next recommendation for you is to go back, and because the Resident Evil game's going to sell all the time,
Mm-hmm.
go back and check out some of these Resident Evil games that you missed. I do have like 95% of all of them. So if you want to go down and get co-op, you want to, throw something on stream and we running co-op and having fun with it, I'm with you, brother.
That'd be cool, man. We're gonna have to plan that out, and I look forward to it. I hope we get the opportunity, guys. With that, I'm gonna wrap it up. I didn't want to make the episode too lengthy. Wanted something for you guys to be able to digest. But I'm so glad that Jay was able to find the strength, to find the time to jump on here. Again, much prayers, much love. Send those good vibes towards Jay. We all need that from time to time. Come over to Drama Free Gaming on our Discord. Hook up with us there. Sleek was here in spirit. He was muted all this time. He muted himself. I didn't mute him. But I'm glad that he was here. He was in the chat in our Discord and definitely participating there. But we were glad to have him always. Shout out to Henyo when he listens to this. Henyo, we're going to talk about some more MLB, real life MLB, because I started watching some of the games. Yeah, I'm actually digging baseball once again. But guys, we're going to shut it down. We're going to shut it down, Jay. We're not going into that.
All right.
What? No, we're not going into that, man. We'll talk about it on the next one. Give you something to think about for next week, all right? But Jay,
all right,
talk to these people as you say your farewells and we run off to hug our pillows.
Ladies and gentlemen of the world, children of all ages, women, boys, girls, that's just all it is. I hope that you find your gaming lovely. Don't waste your money on companies that ain't trying to entertain you. Don't buy anything that people are trying to cut your throat on. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Your money is your money. If you're going to buy a game, make sure you're going to love it, enjoy it, and come back to it. You guys have a lovely evening.
Amen. And with that, we thank you guys for tuning in. Again, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, recommend the podcast. Hopefully you guys were entertained in the last hour and change. As always, this is End Time signing out of DFG Podcast number 70. We'll catch you on the next one. Be good, people. Do good. And as always, keep your gaming and your life drama free. Later, people.